Joining me now, the great Sandra Smith, co-anchor of America Reports. And somewhere's out there, we have our friend Kevin Brady, former Texas congressman, and we have Art Laffer, former Reagan economist. Everybody, boys and girls, welcome back.
Hey, Larry.
Arthur, I got to start with you because you taught me everything I know about Texas. I mean, for God's sakes, put away, you know what, every single detail. Trump cut taxes, rising tide lifted all boats. All Biden does is want to raise taxes. And I'm going to say a falling tide is going to sink all boats. Okay? I like it nice and simple. Go ahead, Art. Take it and run.
Well, you're totally correct. I mean, Trump did cut him the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, reduced the corporate rate, I think, from 35 to 21, reduced the personal income from 39.6 to 37. There were lots of other things in there. And what happened, just as you said, the lowest unemployment rates, the poor, the minority, the disenfranchised, the undereducated. I mean, all of that went to the lowest unemployment rates. Poverty went down and tax revenues went up. You didn't mention in your riff that another huge beneficiary of the Trump tax cuts was the increase in revenues for government. And that's just federal government. Their tax revenues went up as a result of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But look at what it did to state and local taxes as well. They were raised as well. So they really benefited from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act dramatically. Now, what we also know, Larry, is whenever we've raised the highest marginal income tax rate in America on the rich, this is the Biden plan, whenever we've done that, literally whenever, from the beginning of the tax codes on, tax revenues from the rich have gone down, the economy has underperformed, and the poor have been hammered. When we've lowered tax rates, tax revenues have gone up from the rich, and also the economy has prospered, and the poor did well. Those are the facts, just the facts. And frankly, I'm very sick of people using the phrase, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not about opinions, Larry. It's about facts.
No,
facts
that's right.
matter.
I know. You can make it. I don't care what your point of view is. You can't make up the facts. Sandra Smith, we're coming to you. Hang on one second.
Correct.
We're saving the best for last. I want to go and talk to my friend Kevin Brady. Kevin, you helped write the Trump tax cuts. I'm just going to say that Biden's assault is just factually untruthful. Now, I know, Kevin, presidents never lie, but they do tell untruths. And this from top to bottom is untrue. Is it not?
Absolutely, Larry, it is. And by the way, it's great to be on with tax legends who were mentors to me as well as we crafted this bill. So, yeah, so the president's claims have been debunked so often that fact checkers have now come up with a new name for them, zombie claims. They're dead. They're not alive. But they keep walking into these press conferences. And it's such a shame because, the Trump tax cuts delivered prosperity and fairness in a big way. In 2019, is my favorite year because we got to see how the tax cuts would drive the economy and families. And in that 1 year, we saw household income grow more in 1 year than in all 8 years under President Biden or President Obama and Vice President Biden. We saw poverty, as you said, hit 50 years low, especially for people of color. And income inequality began to shrink for the first time in half a century. And we did that not by sending them government checks, but by allowing them to keep more of their own paycheck, to invest in their own small business, in their own American dreams. And that's why President Trump's polling numbers, are so strong on the economy.
Sandra Smith, a day after tax day, Biden's going to Scranton, Pennsylvania, to raise taxes and blame Trump. He always blames Trump. So I want to get your take on this. You're a person of middle America, sort of.
Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be with you, all of you tax legends out there. But absolutely, he delivered this speech. It was live during our hours today, during America Reports. There he stood in Scranton, Pennsylvania, telling voters there that he's doing a great job in the economy and that he's going to make things better for them. Inflation in that state is running at 17%. Okay, he is not getting good marks on the economy from voters there. If you live in that state, you are paying $888 more a month under this president than you were before Biden took office. The average price for a gallon of gasoline is sitting at $3.73 in Pennsylvania, up $1 under Joe Biden. Okay, so where do you run? Where do you hide? It's to your affordability crisis situation happening in so many states in this country. House prices. It's incredibly expensive to buy a home in Pennsylvania. They're up 31%. 1%. I think I said this to you right before the show started, but the ultimate tax is inflation, right? People are paying more for absolutely everything out there. And then you have the president, while he's telling everybody everything's okay and going to get better under him, he's transferring student debt. And that all is going to get transferred to the American taxpayer. And let's not forget, when you have him touting these tax hikes, that the basic tenet there is that the government knows how to spend your hard-earned dollars better than you.
Well put. No, that's right.
Let's not forget that.
That cuts right through it. So who's going to pay for the canceled student debt?
The hard-working American that likely did not or never will go to college.
About 65% will pay for the 35%. How's that fair?
Amen.
How's that fair?
It doesn't fare well. And in an election here, people will remember that.
Just think about what you just said, that the government can spend your money more than you can. He's out there saying to people, I'm going to raise taxes by about $5 trillion. We're going to reverse all the Trump tax cuts, which, by the way, people approve of. We just saw the New York Times poll shows people thought they did better under Trump than under Biden. I'm going to raise your taxes and spend more money. How is that going to give you confidence about the economic future and economic opportunity? That's the part I don't
People are not optimistic, and they're taking on more and more credit card debt to pay for these sky-high prices. Credit card debt's up nearly 50% under this presidency, and a brand new Reuters Ipsos poll just came out. I think this was in the last hour or so. It showed that Trump is over Biden 41 to 34% on who voters think best to handle this economy. So he's still getting the higher marks. And by the way, when I was listening to Biden, I only got to listen to half the speech, so I could be wrong. I did not hear the president utter the word Bidenomics.
No,
they seem to be running far from that these days. So.
Kevin Brady, he forgot to mention Bidenomics. And while we were at it, Kevin Brady, I want you to, if there's a Trump tax cuts 2.0, can we flatten the rates and simplify the code again? Can we move in the same direction? Drop the corporate rate down maybe to 15% where Mr. Trump wanted it in the first place? I mean, what should we do with the code? You were one of the authors of the landmark bill.
Yes, I would say the answer is make it more simple and flatter, fairer, and even more pro-growth, because there's more there to be had. And so one thing to point out, the corporations, with your leadership and the president, we lowered it to 21%. The federal government's actually generating more revenue at 21% than it did at 35%.
Right.
Yeah, because businesses are investing in their workers, their community. In America especially, we've seen a huge sort of a giant sucking sound back into the United States of investment, manufacturing, even patents here along with the research. And so I would go for, first, lock in these low rates that we have today. They're incredibly fair and it's pro-growth for businesses. Secondly, I would continue to try to drive rates down as low as we can, especially on investment. I'll tell you, one of the things we didn't get done is we weren't able to lower the capital gains rate and spur even more investment. I think that's always important because we don't want, right now we have an economy driven by consumer spending, government spending. It's not sustainable, and certainly I think we can make even more progress in the pro-growth area going forward.
Art Laffer, just to, look, if you want to have a socialist, big government, high taxes, fine. But Art, in its simplest way, I mean, what Sandra was saying, you either cut taxes or you raise taxes. Since when would a $5 trillion tax hike help an economy? Okay, since when? And Arthur, you always say, after tax income drives work and investment. If that income shrinks, you're not going to do it. If that income expands, you will do it. Tax something more, you get less of it. Tax something less, you get more of it. These are fundamental truths. Why can't the Bidens understand this?
Well, I don't know, Larry, but let me just put it really straightforwardly. I have never yet heard of an economy taxed into prosperity.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense whatsoever. And then you look at what Biden's solution is, Larry, which is welfare spending and more transfer payments and all of that. And once again, I've never heard of a poor person spending himself into wealth. These two are just the two silliest things ever. If you tax people who work and you pay people who don't work, don't be surprised if you got to get a lot less people working. And that's exactly where we are today. And it's a shame because we have the potential to be really productive and really fair and really balanced and really to help the poor, the minorities, and the disenfranchised. And we're frittering it away with these Biden policies. But it's simple. It's just really straightforward and simple.
Sandra, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Amen.
This is what Mr. Biden doesn't understand. And ironically, 30 years ago more, in 1986, Joe Biden voted for the Reagan second tranche, which brought the top rate to 28 and the only other rate to 15. A rising, that's what John F. Kennedy taught everybody. That's what Reagan and Kem taught. They don't get it.
I can only imagine. Well, maybe you guys should spell that out more. What would the growth look like with a 15% corporate tax rate?
5%.
But rising tide lifts all. But I thought of you because I was clipping a montage of Biden recently, and I know you love when he says the American economy, it needs to grow from the middle out and the bottom up.
My favorite.
Not the top down.
I don't even know what it means. It's my favorite.
Sideways.
Line. It's sideways. I'm sorry. But today is accusing Trump of inheriting his money. So why do you want to take all of his money?
By the way, one thing not to forget, the Wall Street Journal pointed this out this morning, the editorial board. The IRS's most wanted man, the $200,000 man, the IRS is targeting those making $200,000 less with audits more than any other group.
Yep.
I mean, how about them?
Uber drivers, waitresses.
Brutal.
Thank you, Sandra Smith. We
Thanks
appreciate it.
me.
Thank you, Kevin Brady. It's great to see you. Thank you, Arthur Laffer. We appreciate it very much. All right, folks, don't forget you can catch Sandra along with her co-anchor, John Roberts, on America Reports, weekdays every day, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox News.